Hey guys, so today we're gonna go talk to people about coffee. Let's go. I like your coffee. What kind of coffee do you like?
I like cappuccinos most of the time. Sometimes Americano, sometimes drip coffee. Depends.
Okay.
Sometimes with sugar. Sometimes when life gets hard, I like sugar in there.
I really like Nescafe, French vanilla instant coffee, or like a nice chai. Yeah.
I don't know much about coffee, but I just know that I like my coffee cold brew, and with ice black, no sugar, no nothing, just black.
Nice. So, do you guys prefer tea or coffee?
Coffee?
I'm a coffee guy.
Yeah.
I'm a coffee guy for sure.
Coffee.
Coffee for sure.
I prefer coffee.
I prefer coffee over tea, which I don't really drink any tea.
Yeah.
Other than I like when I go to like an Asian restaurant, good jasmine tea or something. That's very nice. Yeah.
Okay, what kind of coffee do you like?
Right now I like pour overs, and so my favorite place is QLab, which is at the other end of the block. So I just try other different stuff from them. Yeah.
I like my coffee strong and black first thing in the morning, and I like cappuccinos as well, little ones, 8 ounces.
Usually I go for a cortado. Yeah.
Right now I'm really loving like iced coffee and I love flavor, so I want like vanilla or like any like hazelnut or whatever.
If you were stuck on a desert island,
Yeah.
okay, for the rest of your life you can only have one coffee drink, what would it be?
It's definitely a pour over. It's something that has like fruity flavors, maybe even like a raw one with like berries in it or something. And I'll do that because it's easy to drink. You can have it hot, you can have it cold, you can have it anytime.
Iced latte or an iced Americano. Yeah, something iced.
Okay, unsweetened, just black?
Unsweetened, yeah, just straight.
Okay.
Well, it's a desert, man. You need to have something cold. I'll definitely stick with the cold brew with ice.
Yeah. I'll do like a nice cold brew, maybe with like a vanilla cream, like a little sweetener.
Espresso, as long as I can keep having as many.
Black coffee. Somebody asked me this the other day. Somebody literally asked me this question a couple of days ago. I just need like drip coffee.
Honestly, I would say just black coffee. Because I feel like the more I age, the more I'll appreciate it, and then forever and ever I can just drink that.
My last question is, do you have a favorite memory with coffee at all?
Favorite memory with coffee? Probably, I don't know, other than having like really good conversations with friends at cafes and stuff, I think like coffee specifically, maybe the first time I made like a decent cup of coffee at home that didn't taste like I was like, wow, I can actually do something, you know, just by having a little like a Chemex or something, you can do yourself at home, and you know, feels pretty rewarding.
A favorite memory with coffee. Every day is a new memory with coffee, so no, I don't have a favorite.
Honestly, for the past, I would say like 4 years or so, all the connections and all the relationships and all the acquaintances I was able to make just through coffee industry in general, that would be my favorite part. Like I made a lot of cool people. I was able to make a lot of cool like relationships, and still able to like maintain it to this day. And I think that's the best thing that came out of the coffee industry in general.
Yeah, I mean, I'm from Ethiopia originally, so I think we start drinking coffee early, and we do like whole ceremonies after dinner and stuff. So tons of memories with family and stuff.
That's awesome.
Holidays and weddings and stuff.
Yeah.
It's always coffee ceremonies.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
When you say young, like how young were you?
I mean, I think, so it's funny, in Ethiopia, but they do like different brews. So there's like a first brew, second and third, so it gets lighter.
Yeah.
I think as kids, we were able to take like the third, fourth brew. So they start you young, like 10, 12 or something.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And that's it. Okay, back to you, Hajar.
They say money makes the world go round, but have they ever had a cup of Turkish coffee at 7 a.m. or on a Monday morning? Coffee is liquid gold. It's bold, mysterious, and a little chaotic, just like me or most of us before caffeine. I'm Hajar Al Khouzaii, and in Arab culture, coffee isn't just a drink. It's a ritual, a love language, and yes, a peace treaty. Today, I'm joined by Egyptian-Canadian artist and photographer Bishoy Beshara. He is one of the creative forces behind Heliopolis Social Café here in Calgary, Alberta. And we're going to be talking culture, community, and how coffee itself is a form of art. So grab your cup, whether it's Turkish, espresso, or whatever your barista talked you into. And Bishoy, let's dive in, shall we?
Yeah, but first, let's make a cup of Turkish coffee.
And Bishoy, as we were explaining before, you use a machine here at the cafe
Yes.
for ease of use to make the Turkish coffee.
And for consistency.
For consistency,
It tastes the same
absolutely, yeah.
exactly every time, whoever is making it, it should taste the exact same.
Perfect. Okay. For all our viewers at home, Turkish coffee is usually made in a specific pot. If you do make or drink Turkish coffee, you probably know what I'm talking about. But it's usually made in a specific top pot for Turkish coffee. Similar actual Turkish coffee cups used, just the ones that Bishoy uses at the Heliopolis Social Cafe here in Calgary.
Should we make a small brew? Make it slow.
Yeah.
You see?
Make it really nice. How many times do you drink Turkish coffee? A day.
On record, off record. A bit too much for my doctor's preference,
Yeah.
a bit too little for my own preference. So typically I do doubles in single one, and I take with the big cup. On a good day, that's probably 6 or 7 ounces.
Wow, okay.
That's how we go.
I think I do the same. So I make mine in the large and I put it in a to-go cup. Like
There you go. Yes.
To-go. And I think everyone asks me like, what is that smell? I'm like, Turkish coffee. And they're like, shouldn't it be in a shop? I'm like, yeah, sure. That is my Syrian side. Because in Syria, you wake up to Feyruz. You're listening to Feyruz and you're making your coffee, your Turkish coffee. And that's the first thing. You don't do a sip of water.
That's how we drink.
You do a cup of coffee.
I
Yeah.
heard that you mostly do it boiled instead of the ones with the crema that we're used to.
That's true. So in Syria, the way they do Turkish coffee, they have to bring the water to a boil.
Yeah.
And then they add the coffee. And then
Yeah.
So, but in Turkey, where Turkish coffee is from, they actually have cold water and add the Turkish coffee
Yes.
as it's cold, and you keep stirring it
Yeah.
until it comes. And you don't let it boil too much because you want that beautiful crema to be put in the cup. Also, a tip to everyone who drinks Turkish coffee and wants to have that crema on top, we're gonna give you a small tip. You bring a spoon, take a little bit of that beautiful cream smooth, put it in the cup first, and then you pour the coffee, and you will have consistent
She knows her coffee.
crema on top of your coffee, your Turkish coffee.
Egyptians treat the crema very seriously, I would say. So older generation, I keep telling that to my guests, it's like, oh guys, you're too serious. Older generations, you know that if you serve them the coffee without that crema,
Don't get married.
yeah, and they consider it a little bit of an insult. Like, you didn't pay enough attention making my coffee, what's wrong with you, and all that sort of stuff, but yeah.
I actually knew that because I have a friend from Alexandria, and the first time I made her Turkish coffee, it came with a crema.
Yeah.
And she told me, how good had to go with me?
Yes.
And I was like, what? And she's like, in Egypt, if you bring Turkish coffee without that beautiful crema on top,
You will not.
get married because you can't make coffee. So I'm like, well, thank you. She still says it every time I make it. I'm like, I don't want to. I don't want to get married. I want the coffee.
But the coffee's good.
But the coffee's good, yeah.
Funny enough, I think most homes I know, the coffee ends up being kind of the responsibility of the man in the house. The men are the ones making coffee. I see very small cases where the ladies are making coffee.
See, that depends because in Iraq, coffee is not a big deal. It's actually chai.
Yeah.
Tea is a big deal. And so my ex-husband is from Iraq. He loves coffee. Very opposite of the Iraqis I know. But him particularly, he likes fast coffee, instant coffee. He actually does not make Turkish coffee for the sake of him. I don't think he knows how either.
Okay.
But if I ever make it, he'll drink. He loves it. But I do know that Syrian men and Lebanese men and any other person from a different culture will make that Turkish coffee. I do believe that. I still like to make my own. I'm a very picky person, but I do it slowly, just like you do, to make it perfect.
It gets more bitter, it gets more flavorful, yes, the whole thing. Yeah. When I first came, that was like 10 years ago. I didn't even know that I could source Turkish coffee, you know. So I was used to our usual good coffee coffees, two coffees. And of course, my stomach didn't take it well because of the acidity. And then once I found Turkish coffee, I can source it. I changed.
That was great. There we go. Look, wish.
Woof wish. Shall we?
Let's go.
Let's go. Please.
Bishoy, what was your first memory of coffee? Was it love at first sip or was it a slow burn?
It was fear because I was entering a tough conversation with the husband of my aunt. I was a teenager at this point. I didn't yet develop the love of coffee. And I was going through a messy phase in my life. And then he calls me. I love him to pieces. He's like a second dad to me. And he's like, hey, Bishoy, we need to drink a coffee. And to me, that means like, okay, we're in for a serious conversation. He still makes the best cup of coffee in the whole world. I'm saying. So that was my first memory. We sat together, we had a coffee, and it was beautiful. So always coffee to me becomes grounding. It's like, hey, take a moment, pause, get grounded, and then let's figure out what's going on. And since then, it's Turkish coffee.
How does your family treat coffee? Your culture, family traditions? Is it sacred, social, or like just strictly caffeine?
A mix of both. It's a large family. So we got some part of the family that are tea drinkers. We're not going to talk about them now. But for the others, it's usually this. Sit and have a conversation. And it's very different from your morning coffee to get you going. Usually everybody gets these by themselves, depending on their schedules and everything. But when it's like, hey, sit, we need to talk, or sit, we need to chill, or let's watch TV, or let's watch something. So it becomes this at the core of people gathering together, be it for serious or for leisure time.
Do you ever realize that the cup of coffee honestly makes the mood and the vibe of a conversation? For me, it's the same thing. My Syrian uncles, my maternal side is Syrian, and so if one of my uncles says, it means we're gonna have a serious conversation.
Yeah.
Or it's like, it means this is fun, we're gonna go hang out.
There you go.
So the way the word coffee is used in language even, it's very different in Arab culture.
Yes.
Do you feel that it's the same way in Western culture, given the fact that we live in Calgary, Alberta, we're in Western Canada, the most west you can get, and we're surrounded, and people here are coffee lovers foremost. Like we have Tim Hortons, we have Starbucks, we have Second Cup, which is purely Canadian, absolutely wonderful. And then now we have Heliopolis Café that serves all of these coffees like Turkish, cappuccino, lattes. I saw the menu, it's wonderful. This one is always my favorite. But do you see that it's different here, the way that it's used, even in language-wise?
I would say yes, and I think the whole tempo of life is a little bit different. People are always, or either completely running, completely go, do, deliver. I need my caffeine. Let's go. Let's get productive. I just have 15 minutes left in my lunch. So that's one side of it. And then you have the complete chill down. We're just chilling in a cafe having coffee. I don't see the in-between a lot, and I think this is a core difference in culture, at least how I experience it. We live a lot in the between, where we come from, Egypt, Iraq, Syria. It's like, yes, we're doing things, but we're not completely relaxed and we're not completely in a hurry. So, but yeah, definitely sets the tone. I haven't seen yet that difference in tone of let's grab a cup of coffee, and if that means a serious conversation or just chill out. But I'm new, maybe there are nuances in the culture I don't know about yet. You can find this stuff in just 10 years. But yeah, to your point, I love how just the tone of saying is different. Yeah.
Do you think coffee has personality? For example, do you think like cappuccino is flirty and Turkish coffee is mysterious?
100%.
Yeah.
And it even, so sometimes some of my guests come in. A lot of our demographic is used to drip coffee. And we don't have drip coffee here, it's always espresso based or Turkish coffee. And you get, hey, I want a coffee. It's like, yeah, what sort of coffee do you want? And this is where it gets a little bit awkward. And they say, what do you mean, what's your cup of coffee? I was like, I have this and that and that and that. And few cases, they have no idea what I'm talking about. It's like, hey, you pick. And the first question would be, what are you feeling like? Not to drink. What's your mood like? What are you? And yeah, to your point, one is flirty. I would say the cappuccino is flirty. The lattes are smooth. So that silky texture, okay? Smooth, things are going on. Flat white is like, I need the caffeine, but just a little bit of milk to make it okay.
Yeah.
So that's probably a person that's coming into work. Yeah.
That's funny because for me, it's always Turkish coffee. And I literally put it in a to-go cup, like these large to-go cups, like 12 ounces and bigger. I mean, again, as you said when we were making the coffee, off the record or on the record, my doctor is probably going to be watching this, so
Yes.
I did not listen to him, absolutely not. What was the weirdest or most memorable cup of coffee you've ever had?
Oh, wow. We had this, again, it was Musemi, the husband of one of my aunts. What do we call that? Uncle-in-law?
Yeah, your uncle.
I always get,
Your uncle-in-law.
I get completely lost in family trees and the names. But anyway, and I think we were somewhere by the beach. And of course, he loves Turkish coffee, as I say. And he got one of those electric heaters. The heater was malfunctioning, and it was producing insanely minimal amount of heat. So we ended up preparing the pot of coffee, putting it on the heater, and then going out the entire day, building up our enthusiasm to how this pot will taste like, being brewed for like 6 hours. And then we returned back, and that was it. I never had a cup of coffee that ever tasted like this before. That was the one. Yeah.
Do you always take your coffee the same? Like for me, for example, my coffee, my iced coffee is very different than my Turkish coffee. And I know like in Arab culture, coffee is very, very important, especially in the Levant area in North Africa. Coffee is very important. It's part of our, like I know also in Saudi Arabia, they have their own certain cup of coffee, which is usually gold coffee.
Yes.
But for me, my Turkish coffee always has to be black. It cannot have sugar, it cannot have milk. Usually Turkish coffee doesn't.
Yeah.
But then, for example, I don't do double-double.
Mm-hmm.
If you do, good for you. Sure cup.
No judging.
No judging at all. But I do like cappuccinos, macchiatos, and all of those. Do you ever think that, no, like, there is certain ways, no matter what I always go back, for me, I always go back to the Turkish black coffee, the mysterious one. Do you have a certain cup of coffee? What time of day also?
First cup of the day, always. Double the amount, same as you do, off record. Black Turkish coffee, that's how the day starts. I try to take a moment sipping it before opening my emails. I fail most of the days, but again, it becomes this. I'm not a cappuccino lover. I love my lattes, I love making them, I love drinking them. Sometimes I add a little bit of sugar to my Turkish coffee, making it ariha, but then the go back to is always this, the double black coffee, slowly brewed. This is it.
I love that you brought ariha. Not everyone actually is familiar with those terms,
Yes.
unless you are from that area or you drink coffee.
Yeah.
So for our viewers, sada means black. That's how most people drink their coffee. Ariha is a little tiny bit of sugar. Helwa means sweet. It has a lot of sugar.
Yeah.
Anything else I missed?
Mazbuta.
Mazbuta.
Mazbuta is like equal parts, so it's
Yes.
balanced.
Yeah.
Mazbuta I think translates to right or accurate,
Yeah.
but it means balanced. Actually, I love the lingo of ariha. Ariha, it means like to the smell, so it's like the coffee just smelled the sugar. There is a bit of smell of sugar in it.
Smell of
That's it.
sweetness.
Yes.
But it's not
Yes.
sweet.
Yes.
It's the smell of
Yes.
sweetness.
Yeah.
We added a little bit of sugar.
Exactly.
And when I say little, I actually do mean like the tip of the
Yes.
spoon. Like it cannot be sweet.
No, just smell of sugar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Coffee is usually empowering. For me personally, it is. I think when I started drinking coffee, I was very young. I was actually a teenager.
Wow.
Yeah, I think I was 15. That's when I started drinking coffee, hence why I never grew taller. But I felt every time I have a cup, I'm like, yep, I'm a lady and I have my cup of coffee, no one can talk to me.
Yep.
But it's true, and I feel like a lot of people, I meet a lot of people, and when we talk about coffee and our conversation gets into the coffee and coffee beans and stuff, it's an empowerment for some people. I feel like even the way in Arab culture, drama,
Yes.
the way it's portrayed, it's always, let's sit. What is your coffee like? And that's the beginning. That's what
Yes.
sets the tone to that conversation,
Yes.
as we said before. Do you feel that coffee is empowering? How has it empowered you?
I think it's considered a bit of a rite of passage. So there is a day where you sit with the old people, your parents, the friends, whoever that, and you are quote unquote allowed a cup of coffee, and if it's a smoking culture, and a cigarette. And this is a rite of passage. This is where the elder recognize you as part of them. Very different from when you're a child or a young teenager and say, hey, I want a sip of coffee, and they tell you, no, it's too bitter. Or, hey, I'm sitting and hanging with you, and they say, no, we're drinking coffee, go away. This is where you mean they're having a serious conversation now and they're not included. So it's that always that first time where you're allowed to sit with the elders, the parents, and they offer you a cup of coffee, and if you smoke or they smoke at the moment, you see that grandfather or father offering you one. Very bad, nobody smokes. This is by no mean an endorsement of that. It's a rite of passage. And then I think that's why it becomes this empowering. Because same way, I'm now allowed to drink the sacred bitter drink. I'm allowed to sit with the elders. Oh, I can drink it just by myself. Oh, that's cool, I can do that. I can invite others to drink it. And now that I'm getting older and I see sometimes when I think things needing an intervention, it's like I invite one of the kids or one of my younger friends and it's like, hey, I'm gonna make you a coffee, let's sit and talk. It's that sort of same empowerment that you receive at a certain point and then you pass on the answers.
Tell me a little bit about Heliopolis. How did you come up with that? I know you're an artist. We see a lot of your artwork around on the walls here at your cafe. You're a photographer. How did you combine coffee and art together?
Oh, that's a long journey. I think we started thinking about this more than 3 years ago, in seriousness. This is the brainchild of Rana, my wife and partner. She's the founder of it. She's the one who pushed for it. And the idea started of how much we lack a space to chill, make connections. Calgary and Canada is so diverse, so many cultures, and it's so amazing. Yet when you first make your first steps here, first few years, even if you try not to, you find yourself stuck in your work group, in your ethnic background group, in your work group, in your golf club, in your church club, whatever that is. And it always becomes this pocket of people of similar interest, and you're never able to tap on that. So that was kind of like, we need that. That doesn't exist. Let's build it. And then one thing led to another, and it became, what's a safe space for people to hang out by themselves or to connect with others? And immediately what popped in Rana's head, and I immediately was on board, it's like a living room. Our living room provided that. And then the idea was, okay, wouldn't it be nice if we can just extend our living room, make it bigger, make it as welcoming, as warm, and open it to guests, not customers, guests. And then from there it's like, okay, how can this be a business? And it became, okay, what do you see in a house? If you go to your friend's house, what do you expect to find? Coffees, teas, drinks, food. Oh, we're building a cafe, we're building a lounge. And this is how it started to be. And then from there we went on, how should the space feel like? And it should feel warm, welcoming, a bit different, because it shouldn't feel like a commercial space. It should feel like a home, private space. It should feel like a space that people can connect to, but it shouldn't be associated with any ethnicity. Hence the color palette, hence the art, hence the photography from all over the world, hence what our guests are providing and the drawings they're leaving us. So one thing led to another, and yeah, we found that space in February of 2024. Took us 6 months to renovate and rebuild. We opened in August of last year, so our first year anniversary is coming in a few days. and it's working. I think it became more than a cafe or a lounge or a bar. We have our regulars here who now know us by first name. We know them, we know their stories, they know our stories. And then bit by bit, they start knowing each other, and you start seeing this community being built around coffee, around books, around art, around conversations. And then recently, you see this community helping each other without us even intervening. People know each other, and they know, oh, you need that connection, I'm gonna provide you with that business card, I'm gonna give that introduction to you. So yeah, here we are.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
1 year
1 year.
anniversary, very close. You're an artist and a photographer, and me and the team behind the scenes, we all do that work as well, so we understand how artistic photography can be and how much it can show. What I want to ask you today, that also as a part-time barista is what I'm going to call you today for the sake of the episode and for the sake of your cafe, how is coffee a form of art?
When we first started, I never worked an espresso machine before. It's not in our culture. We don't have espressos. We don't drink espressos. It's either Turkish coffee, tea, and then you get taught how to make a latte, how to steam milk. And usually it is very systemic steps. It's like, hey, fill that jug to that level, put it at that angle, wait for 20 seconds, and there you go. It doesn't work. Never. If you follow instructions, it doesn't work because the heat is not exactly the same. The temperature of the jug is never exactly the same. The angle of your hand when you're frosting it, it's never the same. And this is where you know, okay, there is part science, 100%. You need to understand the science of what happens chemically in the ingredients you're working with. But there's an art piece of it. It's like your hand needs to understand, to know, to feel the heat and know that this is enough now. You kind of, when a guest comes and I say, I want my latte extra hot, okay, you need to like feel it all to a point where you know this is as hot as it gets. After that, the milk gets soaked. You cannot put a thermometer in it. You cannot do it. That's the artistic piece of it. You rely on feeling, you rely on your gut, you rely on, yeah, that's enough. That guest will love it this way. That's one part of it. The other part is, I think, the focus and commitment it takes. In photography, I do a lot of street photography. I wouldn't call myself a photographer. I'm a very hobbyist. Sometimes you just snap the shot without thinking about it, knowing that there is something here. You caught something. I'm gonna figure this out when I get home and see it on the big screen. And sometimes it becomes intentional. You're looking at a certain frame, and you know that some action is bound to happen. You're seeing this guy coming from this side of the road. You're seeing that bicycle coming here. You see the pot, the little pond of water there. Okay, something is bound to happen. You just wait for it. I think coffee is a mix of both. You kind of know the end result. I know what I want to deliver. You just need to rely on your senses to get there. So yeah, I think it's a little bit of, it sounds cheesy, but there is a little bit of art in making coffee, making drinks, in serving with intention and knowing that everything you create is intended to please or to provide peace or grounding or even a refreshment to a guest that actually trusted you with this hour or two of their time to spend here.
I feel like the mood that you make coffee plays a role in the way that coffee is going to taste.
Yes.
I feel like if I am not in a good mood, my coffee, something is going to happen with it.
Yes.
Most of the time, it will not have that beautiful, smooth crema on top.
Yeah.
I don't know how. I'm not sure why it happens. Your own mood, your own feeling plays a role in the way your coffee is going to taste.
Yeah.
I know it sounds crazy. I swear it's true.
It is.
Please try it if you haven't. I promise you, I am telling you the truth. The way you feel will actually play a role in the way your coffee tastes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Being Egyptian, you grew up, you were born and raised in Egypt. I feel like that played a role in your love for coffee.
Yes.
Can you tell me a little bit about that?
I miss the streets. So typically where you hang as a guy, young or old, Egypt has so many of these modest cafes, and you find them everywhere. It's in front of a garage, it's in a back alley somewhere, and they're so random, so organic, so
Yeah,
unthought
قاعد على القهوة.
of. Exactly, قاعد على القهوة. It's just a bunch of chairs, a guy with a heater in the back, and that's it. And when you get lost in streets in Cairo, specifically at night, this is where you always end up. We go for a drink, or you go for a meal, or you go for a meeting, or you go for whatever you go. And then just a bunch of guys wanting to hang, and this is where we end up. You just get rooted there. And in those organic, random cafes, you don't find cappuccinos, you don't find lattes. There is nothing fancy there. There is your just cup of Turkish coffee. That's it, end of story. And the fanciest would be where you get a choice of what sort of bean mixes you want. So it's like you want it sada. Sada is like
Black.
yeah, and there is nothing infused with the ground. Some like it with cardamom, some like it with like mahawiga or sada. You like dark roast or light roast. This would be the fanciest you find in this. So it becomes so focused on the coffee itself, not on how much variation you create around it. And this builds this love for the coffee itself. Not the syrups, not the milk, not anything, just the bean. And then you develop a taste. So it's like you go to the same place every night, every day. And then somehow they change their supplier and they have a different bean. And immediately you notice, like, hey, did you change your beans? And then he says yes, and it starts a conversation like that. It's very, I think, a core part of the culture of growing in Cairo and probably in the whole of the Middle East. It's always coffee. Coffee is there. There is no way around it. You'll have 3 million cups of coffee. There is nothing called it's too late for a coffee. You'll have a coffee at midnight. You'll have a coffee at 2 a.m. You'll have a coffee at 5 a.m. if you're still up. And yeah, I think we take too much caffeine.
We do. I think I get at a point and I tell people, hey, you want to come for a cup of coffee? And this is probably 10 p.m.
Yep.
And they're like, we won't be able to sleep. And I'm like, what are you talking about? This doesn't work.
Yes.
I can have a cup of coffee at 1 in the morning and I can be asleep at 1:05.
Yes.
I kid you not, it would not work. And I think, that is a problem medically. We're addicted. It's literally become our blood at this point. But absolutely, and I completely agree with you, cafes play a role as well.
Yeah.
Do you find it interesting that now in modern day, like 2025, those organic, modest cafes have become the cool thing to go to?
Yeah.
Especially for photography.
Yes.
And that's where you want to go get your coffee now.
Yes.
Because you'll know that's where you're going to get in Syria مثلا الفنجان اللي بيعدل المخ.
Yes.
So that's exactly what it is. Like I want that cup of coffee that will actually set my brain right is exactly the translation of that.
Yep.
And it's those old organic modest cafes. For me, the one that's most memorable, I left Syria a very long time ago. I'm half Syrian, half Iraqi. My mother is Syrian. I was born in Damascus. So I left Damascus, I was 9. I turned 33 in 2 days. Probably after this episode airs, before actually this episode airs, sorry. But Nofara, Makhan Nofara, the Nofara Cafe in Old Damascus will always be the one I remember, the one I will always love the most. It was always the one thing I see anytime I'm there in Old Damascus. What was yours? What was the memorable cafe you have?
Oh God. يمسيهم بالخير. الخن. I'm not even sure it exists anymore. It's been a while. Last time I was there was like 7 years ago. It's called El Khun. How to translate El Khun? El Khun is like the hidden spot, the tiny little hidden spot. I think that's what it means. And then Karam was the guy managing it. It was literally a tiny strip at the back of a car parking lot. It would seat a max of 15, 20 people. On heavy days, maybe 25. It wasn't clean. It's basically a part of the street. You'd have your coffee with street cats, street dogs, and you're literally in the street, you're in a parking lot. That's the best. I have my loveliest memories there. This is where friendships were made. This is where friendships were kept. This is where friendships were used for support at the worst times ever in all our lives. And yeah, it became a thing. So friends, guys, Wafa, Samah, Mahmoud, if the world is so weird that you see this, I miss you guys. What we used to do is that if any of us is having a rough time, We never had to explain what's going on. We could if you want, but there was always this, hey, a call to one of them, guys, محتاج قعدة عن خن. I need to sit, I need to go to Khon. And
it's like almost like, let's go vent. I need to vent.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And we never set a specific time on when we're gonna meet. It's like, tonight I'm gonna be there. And then you see the group of friends coming one after the other, few hours apart. Most of those times, we don't talk. We don't talk about what's going on. We just sit there silently, have a coffee, chat a bit, if whoever is in trouble feels like that. And then no excuses, whoever needs to leave at any point in time, they would just leave. That's the cafe. That's the one. If I can even call it a cafe.
Do you hope that Heliopolis will be that spot?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's becoming that spot. And for a few of my regulars, I know it already is. It's a peaceful space for some reason, by intention and by luck. We got so lucky with the team we're working with. Every single one of them is invested. They come here and they treat it not even as a job or their own business, they treat it as their own home. So in a way, that vibe rippled, and my guests feel it, my regulars feel it, and it becomes this space where people can just come in, sit, hang, even without having a coffee. They do their thing, they get grounded, and then they go back to it. So, yeah, it's good. It's a blessing.
I mean, we can hear in the background noise here your clients and your guests, as you like to refer to them. They're enjoying themselves. I mean, it's a Saturday afternoon, so they're definitely enjoying themselves. How do you see? Do you see that when a guest comes in, you'll know based on the coffee they ask for? You basically you're like, okay, yeah, now I know your personality based on that cup of coffee. Yes. I think it's an Arab thing, by the way, that we do that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I know it the moment I ask if they want syrups or flavors.
Okay.
And we carry just a very, very, very few select options of syrups and flavors. It's just sugar cane, vanilla, and caramel. They're very basic. And you get those that ask for a mix of both. Oh, you're experimenting. Okay, let's see what else I can entertain you with. Maybe I can show you something new in culinary. Maybe I can give you a story. And you see those that are very strict. I want 1 shot of vanilla, 2 shots of vanilla. And that, okay, you know your coffee. Be you, do your thing. And then you get those that look not down, but it's like they feel a little bit offended that you ask them for flavors. Like, no, as is, it's black.
Yeah.
Oh, you're a coffee lover.
That's Arab.
Yes. And there becomes this instant nod of like, yeah, that's how I like mine. Yeah, that's how you like yours. And in a way, so a few years ago, this is a nod to a server in one of Calgary's restaurants. Can't remember his name. So we went there at one point in time, we had a chat with them, and then the next visit was almost a year after. That server remembered us. Not by name, but remembered us.
By coffee.
Yes. He remembered exactly how we like our drinks. And now that I am in his shoes, 9 out of 10 times, I remember every guest's drink or coffee.
Yeah.
And it becomes their character. So when we are, it's no secret, in service industry, you pass tips to your colleagues, like, hey, watch out, that guy loves this drink with a lime instead of a lemon. Hey, this person loves their drink with less sugar. And it kind of like, you don't need to re-explain yourself as a guest. But this becomes how you but how you associate the personality of that guest. Oh, that's the person that takes their double espresso shot doubled on black. More than half that. So yeah, you kind of know.
Yeah.
And it's fun.
It is. I think, you know what, certain cafes here in Calgary that I go to, as soon as I get in, I kid you not, the barista or the waiter, is this the, I'm like, yep. They're like, yeah, we got it. I'm like, see, I'm so easy. It's
yes.
like, you know exactly what I want.
Yeah.
But God help them, and I am so sorry when they get me that cup of coffee wrong. If it does not have the crema on top, I'm not drinking it.
Okay.
Total side question, actually not so side, but when you asked me today how I take my coffee, and I said black, what did you think?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
We mean business.
Yeah.
And oh yes, she's so specific. Don't mess up around.
Okay.
And me going in a podcast with cameras is like, okay, let's see how this will go. I think people who like things in the simplest form are also the most specific, because there is no carnival of flavors. There is no 3 million colors on top of your drink. Just the one.
Yeah.
Just the one.
Exactly.
Get it right if you can. And I think these are the hardest coffees we make. Because again, if you're drinking just an espresso, nothing on top of it, or even an Americano is basically an espresso with hot water.
Yeah.
If I mess up the ratios and the pull of that cup of espresso, we have a problem. Versus if you're taking it in a latte or a cappuccino or an espresso martini, a tiny little bit of a mess up won't be noticed in the mix of the milk and the flavors and the shake and the aeration and all of that. So yeah, the simplest people, I take my coffee black, are kind of like the most specific and don't mess around them sort of people.
Bishoy, thank you so much for the opportunity and for letting us shoot here at Heliopolis Social Cafe in Calgary. Congratulations. This is by no means a sponsorship. We wanted to talk about coffee and we thought we came to the right person, and we definitely did. Thank you so much. Thank you for giving us the space.
It's my pleasure. Thank you for the chat. Thank you for bringing back memories. Thank you for the coffee grounding. Thank you for allowing me this time with you to actually slow down, chill, forget what's happening in front of the house. Know that I trust my team to manage it perfectly well. Thank you for that. I appreciate it.
You're very welcome. Thank you for having us. So whether you're team latte or team Turkish, or if you're just here for the biscotti, remember, coffee isn't just a drink. It's a vibe, it's a memory, it's a cultural hug in a mug. Thank you for sipping with us. And if your cup is empty, that's your cue for a refill. Catch you on the next season of the Feminist Philosophy Podcast, where even the coffee is strong, bold, and unapologetically full-bodied. Salam.